What you see in your hands is much more than lines. It's a secret message that only your soul can understand. Maybe you always felt it, but you never knew how to explain it. Every mark, every crossing on your skin holds a truth the world never taught you to recognize. What seems ordinary to others' eyes in you is a unique spiritual signature. The world has tried to convince you that everything is just coincidence, that there are no hidden messages, that you are just one among millions. But deep within, you always knew otherwise. Your hands are not mere instruments. They are maps. They are keys. They are living evidence that there is something you must remember, something you must reclaim, something you must manifest. It's no coincidence that you are here right at this moment. Today, I will reveal to you what that silent calling in your palms truly means and how to know if you are ready to activate it. Stay until the end, because you are about to discover a truth that could forever change the way you see your life and your purpose. Look at your hands once more. Observe their lines, their curves, their silent markings. To many, they are nothing but folds of skin, mere accidents of biology. But to you, who have felt the whisper of something greater deep within, these marks are so much more. They are encoded messages, fragments of an ancient language not spoken in words, but recognized by the soul. Perhaps for a long time you tried to ignore it. Perhaps you thought it was just your imagination, a meaningless coincidence. But deep down, you always knew there was something in your hands that didn't fit the common explanations. A letter timidly drawn between the folds, a crescent moon hiding among your lifelines. These are not mistakes. These are not accidents. They are heavenly seals, imprinted upon your being as silent proof of a greater calling. The letter M and the waxing crescent moon do not appear in just anyone's hands. They are granted to those whose mission could not be entrusted to ordinary hands. They are symbols that mark the guardians of light, the bearers of an energy that transcends the logic of this world. If you are here, if your eyes recognize these signs in your own hands, it is because your soul has answered the echo of that calling, even if your mind has not yet understood what it means. What you see in your hand is the evidence of a pact you did not sign with ink, but with purpose. An agreement sealed long before you became aware, a promise engraved between the visible and the invisible. Your hands do not merely work in the physical world. They are extensions of your spiritual mission, living instruments of divine will on earth. Today, those lines that once seemed random begin to speak. Today, the symbols you carried in silence start to reveal themselves as the unmistakable signature of heaven upon your life. There is no longer room for doubt. You can no longer look at your hands the same way, because now you know every mark you bear is a constant reminder that you were chosen for something that transcends this reality, and that calling has just awakened within you. Carrying a spiritual mark on your hands is not a light matter. It is a silent blessing, but also a sacred burden that shapes every experience you live. From your earliest years, even when you had no word to explain it, you felt there was something different about you. While others moved through the world with ease, you perceived an invisible distance. It wasn't a lack of love, nor a flaw in your character. It was an ancient echo already beginning to set your path apart from the rest. Perhaps you tried to fit in, to mold yourself to the expectations of those around you, to silence that inner voice telling you that you never fully belonged. You tried to build friendships, forge bonds, be part of circles that seemed to embrace everyone, except you. But no matter how hard you tried, something deep inside always broke those ties. Something dissolved them into silences, into painful distances that felt like wounds without names. Amid that confusion, it was easy to fall into guilt. What am I doing wrong? Why am I different? Why does everything seem to drift away from me when I most long to draw closer? What you didn't know then was that it wasn't your fault nor your flaw. It was a sacred design working silently. God, in his infinite wisdom, was setting you apart, protecting you, shielding you from influences that could have derailed your purpose before you could even grasp its greatness. Every friendship that ended without explanation, every door that closed just when you longed for it to open, every opportunity that vanished when you thought it was your time, were not losses. They were divine prunings. The heavenly gardener was preparing the soil of your life so that at the perfect moment you could bloom without being stifled by foreign roots. And though loneliness burned, though the silence weighed heavy, within those empty spaces your strength was being forged. In those nights of unanswered questions, your spirit was growing more sensitive, purer, more receptive to the instructions that would come. While others built their identities on external voices, you were learning, through tears, to listen to the inner voice that has always been your true guide. Those long seasons of isolation, those moments when you thought you had been forgotten, were in true times of preparation. You were hidden, not because you were insignificant, but because your seed was too precious to be exposed before its time. Just as a diamond is formed in the silence of the earth, far from sight, so too was your calling being polished away from the noise of the world. Perhaps you cried through the loneliest nights, wondering why you were different, why you couldn't seem to be like everyone else. Today you can understand that this difference was your protection. It was God's way, without your knowing, of setting you apart to preserve you. Because there are seeds that cannot sprout under just any shadow. There are flames that must be shielded from the fierce wind that could snuff them out before their time. There is a silent moment in the soul journey where everything begins to awaken. It is not a dramatic instant, nor a grand event for the world to witness. It is something intimate, almost invisible, that happens deep within you. Suddenly, what you once overlooked begins to vibrate differently. You feel something inside stir, whisper, press gently, reminding you that you were called to something greater than what your eyes had grown accustomed to seeing. Perhaps you first noticed it when your sensitivity grew sharper, when you started perceiving emotions, vibrations, hidden intentions even without a single word being spoken. Perhaps you felt it in dreams so vivid that upon waking, you carried their living sensation in your chest, as if a message had been delivered directly to your soul. Or maybe it was in those moments when an inexplicable certainty made you choose a path, change direction, close a door your mind was still hesitant to leave behind. This is no coincidence. It is the first heartbeat of spiritual activation. It is a divine seed within you, breaking through the shell of who you thought you were, beginning to emerge into the light. Not everyone perceives this awakening. Not everyone hears the voice that does not shout but whispers. But you, who carry the mark, have been prepared to recognize it. Activation does not require you to know everything or to have all the answers. It asks only one thing, that you do not close your heart when you feel its call, that you do not silence the inner voice that is beginning to speak to you more clearly. Because every intuition, every premonition, every inner stirring that guides your steps is heaven's way of reminding you that your time has come. The crescent moon subtly traced in your hand is not a fleeting ornament, nor a mere curiosity. It is a living symbol, a silent message that has accompanied your journey long before you were aware of it. It is a signature of rebirth, of the eternal cycle of spiritual death and resurrection that marks the lives of the chosen ones. While many live trapped in a linear existence, repeating patterns, you are called to transform again and again. The crescent moon represents that perpetual motion, the ability to walk through darkness without losing faith, to be reborn after every fall, to bloom even when the external seasons seem adverse. It is a sign that your spirit was designed to evolve, to expand, to become a growing light that no abyss can extinguish. Perhaps you did not know it, but every time a stage of your life died, every time you had to let go of something or someone, even though it hurt, every time you were pushed into the void of change, you were living the call of the crescent moon within you. Every process of mourning, internal transformation, silent reconstruction has been part of the invisible map that heaven traced for you. The crescent moon is also the symbol of prophetic intuition. That inner voice that sometimes manifests as a premonition, the sensation that warns you or guides you, comes from a spiritual sensitivity that not everyone possesses. You do not only see the outer world, you feel the underground currents of life. You perceive truths that have not yet been revealed. You intuit the movements of the spirit before the material world even suspects them. This gift is not the result of chance. It is a reflection of your direct connection with the divine source. It is a gift, but also a responsibility, because those who see more, feel more, and those who feel more are called to act with wisdom, to walk in obedience, to intercede silently for paths others do not even know exist. Perhaps you have felt overwhelmed by this sensitivity. Perhaps you have doubted yourself, thinking it was weakness or exaggeration. But today you must know this, that ability to perceive the invisible is one of the greatest treasures you have received. It is a bridge between heaven and earth, a spiritual radar that keeps you attuned to what truly matters. Not everyone can walk beside you, not because you are better than them, but because the frequency at which you vibrate is not compatible with just any energy. There's a reason why certain people drifted away without explanation, why some friendships cooled without apparent reason, why certain doors closed just when you most wished for them to open. Though it hurt at the time, though you questioned what you had done wrong, the truth is that it was all part of higher protection you could not yet see. When you carry a spiritual mark, when your soul has been set apart for a greater mission, you cannot afford to be dragged down by energies not aligned with your purpose. God, in His infinite wisdom, intervened silently to protect what was still forming within you. It was not rejection. It was preservation. It was not abandonment. It was shelter. Separating you from certain people and environments was His way of ensuring you could grow without interference, without contamination, without being led astray. Every rupture, every distance, every unexplained silence was a sacred pruning that prepared the soil so you could bear fruit at the perfect time. While others sought external validation, you were being guided to listen to a deeper voice. While others clung to the visible, you were being taught to trust in the invisible. And though at times that loneliness felt like a heavy burden, in reality, it was a space of honor reserved only for those who carry a mission within them. Because true spiritual growth requires space. It requires silence. It requires distance from everything that could choke the seed heaven planted in you. Now that you know who you are, now that you understand the weight and glory carried in your hands, you can no longer look back. You can no longer live as if you had not seen. You can no longer ignore the calling that burns silently deep within your being. Heaven has marked you. Life itself has trained you. And every experience, every tear, every solitary step has prepared you for this moment, the instant when you choose to embrace your true identity. It is not about being perfect. It is not about knowing everything or feeling fully ready. It is about surrendering to the process, about saying yes to what the universe has been whispering to you all along, because within you already dwells everything necessary to fulfill your mission. The mark on your hands is not an empty promise. It is a daily reminder that the Spirit has entrusted you with a task that only you can carry out. You may be wondering where to begin. The answer is simple. Start by recognizing who you are. Start by accepting that it was not a mistake, that it was not a coincidence, that you were known, set apart, and sent even before your birth. Every step you take in that direction, even the smallest one, will activate more light along your path. Every act of love, every word of encouragement, every silence guided by wisdom will be a spark that ignites the purpose you carry within. Today, as a symbolic act, make a visible commitment. Seal this moment by leaving a spiritual mark, like this video, not as a mere formality, but as a sign of your internal activation. Subscribe, not just to keep receiving messages, but as a conscious step to walk alongside other chosen ones who, like you, are awakening to their true destiny. And write the number 777 in the comments, the number of spiritual fullness, as an act of faith, as a silent declaration before the universe that you are ready to walk in your divine purpose. Thank you for walking this path of light, for being part of the sacred awakening. I'll see you in the next video, where we will continue uncovering the fingerprints of heaven marked upon your life. Until then, keep shining. Your light is needed more than you can imagine.